Let's start our answer for Unit 1 for the present continuous tense. Okay, so we're going to, this whole unit is basically they're testing you on the present continuous tense, so it's easy in the sense that you know every answer is going to be present continuous. It could be, just to refresh your memory again, it could be present continuous, it could be in the positive, the negative, or in the question forms. Okay, so let's do this. You're working hard today. Yes, I have a lot of work to do. Okay, so 1.1 2. I what for Christine? Do you know where she is? Okay, I am looking. Right, now remember when you use the present continuous tense, when something is happening right now in the middle of an action. Okay, so this person is right now looking for Christine. It dark. Shall I turn on the light? It is getting dark, right? 4, they don't have anywhere to live at the moment. They what with friends until they find somewhere. They are staying. So they're staying with their friends right now. Things are not, number 5, things are not so good at work. The company, not good, so the company is losing. All right, it's losing money. 6, have you got an umbrella? It what to rain. It is starting to rain. Okay, it's beginning to rain. You what a lot of noise. Can you be quieter? I what to concentrate. You are making a lot of noise. Can you be quieter? I am trying. 8, why are all these people here? What is happening, right? Okay, as you can see, for all this, it's very simple. This is all in a positive, right? Out of the 3, this is all basically just in a positive. So you have the be verb based on the subject. So am will be I, is he, she, it, are is you. Okay, I am is he, she, it. Okay, now very simple, right? Be verb plus verb ing. Okay, next we go to, okay, this becomes a bit more complicated because you may use the negative. I don't think you use the question. Yeah, this is 1.3 is the question, so here you may actually use the negative. So basically for present continuous tense, the negative, very simple, just put a not behind, right? So let's go for that. 1.2, you can turn off the radio. You can turn it off. I am not listening. Okay, so not after the be verb. You can't say I am listening because it says you can turn it off because I am not listening. Kate phoned me last night. She's on holiday. She is having. Okay, positive. She is having. I want to lose weight. Number 5. So this week if you want to lose weight, I am not eating. Okay. Andrew has started evening classes. He is learning. Number 7. Paul and Sally have had an argument. They are not speaking. Okay, it's a negative. 8. I am getting tired. 9. Tim is working this week. All right, so you should have pretty much all of it correct. If not, you really need to study, because this is studied this part here and this once again. Okay, because this is pretty easy actually, right? At least for 1.1 and 1.2. 1.3 is where you will use the also use the question, right? So the question's could be a bit difficult, right? So let's start 1. Okay, He's at university. I believe I did mention that when you use the question for any of the questions, okay, if you just use the form as here, auxiliary verb, remember it's a helping verb. See, all these are auxiliary verbs. They don't really give any meaning, but you just have to use it, right? If you just use am I, like are you playing, okay, starting with the auxiliary verb, the answer, okay, let me just show this to you. If you just say, are you playing? The answer will be yes or no, right? But if you put the WH word, either what are you playing, then the answer is not yes or no, but maybe football or whatever it may be, the computer. Right? So it's possible to put the WH word, what, how, when, why, before the verb here. And if so, the response would be an actual, what do you call this, is like an open-ended question. You can say more than just yes or no. Whereas if you don't put the WH word, your response is just yes or no, a yes/no question, right? So for this one, it's going to be a WH. So what, it will be, so it's what, and then the be verb. You know the subject is he, right? You know that the subject is a he here. So, and you're going to use the question, so the subject is a he. What is he studying? A question, right? Psychology. Now, next one, it's a question again. Is he enjoying it? Okay, is he enjoying it? Right? 2. Hi Liz, how? Remember, it's all going to be present continuous. How are you? This is, again, you see a WH word here. Then just follow the are you. Are you getting on? Not bad. It wasn't so good at first, but things are getting better. Okay, that's your subject, things. What about Jonathan? Is he okay? Yes, but he is not enjoying, negative. He is not enjoying his work at the moment. He's been in the same job for a long time and he is beginning to get bored with it. All right. Now 1.4. The world is changing. This is happening right now. Okay. Hasn't ended yet. It's still happening right now. That's the use of the present continuous. Something's happening right now. It began before, it's going to end soon, but still we're in the middle of this thing happening. The situation is really bad and it is getting worse. The cost of living, what? Every year things are more expensive. The cost of living is rising. The weather is beginning to improve. Okay, so that is your work for the present continuous tense. All right, let's go to the present simple tense right now. So this is going to be present simple. You're not going to use present continuous. In unit 3 and 4, I think you use the present continuous and the present simple. You have to choose between both of them. But right now, it's all present simple. And present simple is a bit more difficult than present continuous in terms of the way you form it. Okay, as you can see, this is a bit more complex. You have the be verbs. The formation for the be verb is very easy. You know, and then for negative you just put a not and then you exchange places. Okay, but for the other verbs that are not be verbs, it's a bit more complex. Okay, he, she, it, you take a S. But then for the negative, you use auxiliary verb. Here's where auxiliary verb comes in. Okay, you don't have any auxiliary verbs here. Auxiliary verbs are helping verbs. You just need to use them. You don't. They don't really give you any meaning. Okay. And the S doesn't go here. It goes here. So does not. If it's he, she, or it is does not. And then the S goes to the auxiliary verb here. Okay. So it's a bit more complex, a bit more complicated. And you should know that present simple tense, what is the use of it, is when things happen regularly. It's it's not something that's happening right now, but you're talking about something that happens regularly. Okay, a habit. Now, I don't often 2.1 I don't often drink coffee, right? The swimming pool opens. Okay, is a it, so it's with a S. Make sure you have your S. Bad driving causes. This is your S because the driving is a it with the S. My parents live. My parents are they. Remember, the S only comes when it's a it here. Okay, that's why you don't have an S for my parents, because my parents is like a they. So no S here. If you're not using the be verb, no S. Live. The Olympic Games take place. It really depends on how you look at Olympic Games. If you look at it as one, then it takes place. If you look at it as many, in a sense, the plural there, they, then it take. Okay, it's not really. It really depends on how people look at it. The Panama Canal connects is one, is a it connects, right? 2.2. Now you are going to use, this is pretty easy because it's just a present, the positive. Now 2.2, you may use the negative and the question, right? So forming it, the sentence is a bit more difficult. 2. What time? Now, what time? So this is your WH word comes together. Let me see if I can put this there. Let me just show you how it's formed. This is a question. All right. So you have your WH word, what time, and then what is the subject? The subject is banks. Okay, that's how do you choose between all this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You look at the subject. The subject is banks. It's a day, so it should be do they, which is the banks. So do the banks close? Remember, this close is going to be in base verb, no S-E-D-I-N-G. Okay, and 3. I've got a computer, but I do, this is a negative, do not use. Okay, you use the auxiliary do not. The only time you use does not is if the subject is a he, she, it, but the subject is a I. Okay, I. So if it's I, do not. Only when it's a he, she, it, then you put does not. Where, this is a question, again, your WH word there. Where Martin, so the subject is Martin, which is a he, she, it, so it's does. Where does Martin, where does he come from? 5. What is you? Do you, and then do. Now, the do here is auxiliary. You, and then this is the main verb, because the main verb is do. Don't confuse, as I mentioned before in the previous video, don't confuse this do with this do. This is the auxiliary do. You just need to use it. But your main verb could also be a do. Okay, so do you do. 6. It takes me an hour to get to work. How long? Now, the subject here is it. Okay, now this is a dummy it. Okay, there's no really meaning. Okay, so just how long does it? Does because it's a it. Okay, it's not the you, but this is a bit complicated in a sense. Okay, you use the subject as a it takes me. How long does it take you? Look at this sentence. What this word, that's the subject, is this word. This word is a it, does. What does this word mean? 8. David isn't very fit. He what? Not do any sport. He again does not do any sport. Okay, so make sure you get your questions and your negative, especially your questions, correct. 2.3. The sun rises because it's a sun, it's a it. Bees make honey. Okay, so it's make, not makes, because it's a they. Okay, this is not here, this is all the question, so it should be here. They, no s. Okay, vegetarians, the verb here is eat, but do they eat meat? No, they do not eat, right? Vegetarians is a they, so they do not plus base verb. And atheist is someone who doesn't believe there's a God, so does not believe in God. Okay, negative, because an atheist is a it. Okay, he, she, it, so does not. An interpreter translates is a he, she, it, so in the positive you have a s. Lies are people who do not tell. Liars is they do not. Okay, and lastly, the river Amazon flows because it's just one. It's a it, positive, sorry, it, the s there for he, she, it, right? Okay, now this is a bit more complicated because it's going to be the question. Okay, questions seem to be quite difficult for students. Okay, especially in Singapore, a lot of times the question is not formed correctly. So if somebody asks properly, a proper English sentence would be, do you play tennis? A person could say, you play tennis? I mean, that's not totally, I'm not sure if that's even Singlish, or that could sometimes be said even by, even though it's proper English. I think people do say that, people do ask questions like that, but very often in Singlish also we don't use the correct way of expressing or forming the question, but so you need to use it correctly, right? So do you play tennis, not you play tennis, right? At least for IELTS, you want to not that you're actually going to use a question in IELTS. In writing, you're probably never going to use a question. In speaking, you are probably never going to use a question form either. But anyway, this is still good to know in terms of how to speak and write in a proper way when you want to ask a question, right? So perhaps Liz plays number 2. Perhaps Liz plays tennis 2. You want to know, ask Liz. So perhaps Liz's sister. So you're asking Liz about her sister. Okay, you're not asking Liz about her. So what is the subject here? The subject is her sister. Her sister is a he, she, it. Okay, you're using the question. He, she, it. So, does your sister play tennis? Okay, next, you know that Liz reads a newspaper every day. You want to know which one, ask her. So you're asking her, you. Okay, which newspaper, that's a WH word and it comes together, right? This phrase, which newspaper, then you have your, what is subject you. Do you read? Do you read? Okay. Next, you know Liz's brother works. You want to know what he does. Okay, so you're asking the subject here is not her but the brother. So what, and the brother is a he, she, it. Does he do? Okay. You know Liz goes to the cinema a lot. You want to know how often. So how often, that's the WH word. How often, you're asking her directly, you. Do you go to the cinema? And finally, you don't know where Liz's grandparents live. You want to know. Ask Liz. Again, the subject is not Liz, is about, the subject is about the grandparents, which is a they. Okay, so where do your grandparents live? Okay, and this one, I'm not sure what I asked you to do it, but very simply, I won't tell anybody what you said. I promise you must let me pay for the meal. I insist. For what I did, it won't happen. I apologize for what I did. The new restaurant in Hill Street is very good. I recommend it. Okay. All right. So that is chapter 2. Right. Unit 3 right now, and unit 3 and 4, you are going to learn a bit more about the present simple and the present continuous and the differences between both of them. And also, you have to test yourself. This is where students make a lot of mistakes, because in the first 2 units, you know that the whole unit 1 is all about present continuous, unit 2 is all present simple. There's no need to really think and question, analyze the sentence, because you know it's always going to be present simple or present continuous, and all you need to do is get the form correct. Okay, remember I mentioned in the video, introduction video, about the form and the use and the meaning. Okay, so getting the form is difficult, is challenging, and you will probably have seen that you made a lot of mistakes or made a few mistakes. But here it gets even more challenging. Not only do you need to use the correct form, but you need to make sure you're choosing the correct tense. Okay, you need to know the difference. Why am I using the present simple? Why am I using the present continuous? Am I using it correctly? You need to analyze, and so you need to do 2 things. Number 1, firstly, ask yourself which in this sentence, which tense should I use, and the second thing is I need to form it correctly. Is it positive, question, negative, and which subject and all that. You need to form it correctly, so you need to do 2 things. Okay, now you should have read all this already, so I won't really go through that, but okay. Number 3.1, number 3, look, that man is trying. Why? Because right now that's happening. It's not tries. If you mention tries is present simple tense. That means he always does so. No, it's talking about, look, right now this is happening. So you use the present continuous tense. Can you hear those people? What right now? Again, can you hear those people? Somebody saying, talking about something that's happening right now. What are they talking? Okay, that's how you form the question in the present continuous tense. The moon goes round. This is true. This is a habit. This is a fact. This is not just happening right now, but it always happens. So it goes. It's okay using the present simple. I must go now. It is getting late. Okay, right now it's getting late. I usually go to work by car. Okay, usually go. Regularly, every day, I go. You're not saying I'm going to work by car right now. No, every day, regularly. So the present simple is correct. Hurry up, it's time to leave. Okay, I am coming right now. I'm coming right now. Present continuous. I hear you've got a new job. How are you getting on? Okay, when you ask this question, is how are you, is right now. How are you getting on? Paul's never late. Now this always, and I mentioned before the difference between there is this part talking about always. Special use of always plus in the present continuous is more of like a negative kind of thing. This always is more negative than just saying a normal statement. Okay, that means when you're saying that, you're kind of irritated, or either with yourself or with other people, right? But if you're stating a fact, he always is regular, so it will be he always gets, right? Nothing to be irritated about that, unless you say Paul is always late. Paul is never on time. He's always getting to work late, or something like that. Okay, or he's always arriving work late. He's always arriving at work late. Okay. They don't get on well. They're always arguing. Okay. Yep. That is that use of the that is the use of this. This always happens. Okay, it's not a positive thing. So it's okay. Should be okay. Okay, 3.2. Hurry up, everyone. Everybody is waiting right now. Number 4, look at number 4 and number 5, exactly, pretty much the same, almost the same sentence, the first sentence, the question, but the difference is, one is talking about something that regularly happens, one is talking about something that's right now. So for the something that regularly happens, you use the present simple. For something that's happening right now, is the present continuous. So now, no, you can turn it off for number 4, which means it's right now. So you're using the present continuous in the question form. Are you listening to the radio? And then number 5, every day, so it's regular. You use present simple. Do you listen? Number 6, the river now flows, because it's a fact, it regularly happens. Okay, it's not just doing so right now. The river today. Okay, so right now, this is, of course, it always flows. Okay, it's something that happens regularly. Now, but right now, today, so the river is flowing very fast today. We usually grow, present simple, but this year is in the middle. This is just happening right now. Okay, remember, present continuous does not just mean right now, this second. It means that you are in the middle of that time period. Okay, that action, that time period. Okay, so this year, so that you look at the time period as a whole, because it's just this year, it's not next year. We are not, so it's right now, it's happening right now, this year, we are not growing. So that will be your present continuous. Okay, how's your English? Not bad. I think it is improving. Not it improves, it will be present continuous, because right now this is happening. Okay, Rachel is in London at the moment. She right now is staying. It's not that she always stays. Okay, and then the next part is she always stays. Always stays. So the first part is she's staying. She always stays there. Okay. Can we start walking soon? I am starting right now. Starting. Can you drive? I am learning right now. My father is teaching me. Regularly. Normally I finish, present simple, but this week I am working now, just for this week, not always. Just for this week, in the middle of, this week, right now, not forever, not permanently, not regularly, but right now I am working. My parents live in Manchester. Sometimes you can put are living or is living, the present continuous. It really depends on the way you look at it. You sometimes both, you can use both, but because nowadays people travel a lot, so they live here for 2 years, maybe after that they'll move around. The next 3 years they'll live in another country, so it's different. But before, every time, if you live somewhere, you're gonna live somewhere, pretty much your whole life. But now things are changing. So my parents live, it's probably, you're looking at it, this person is looking at it, that's their permanent place of living. Okay, so present continuous, they regularly, they do so permanently, always. Okay, they were born there and have never lived anywhere else. Where? do your parents, so this should be the same thing in the present simple. Now, as I mentioned, because nowadays people travel a lot, and most of you guys are probably, you live in this place for a while, then you're going to another place. So you can say, oh, I'm living in Singapore right now. That's fine. Sonia is looking right now. She is staying. Okay, so right now, she's looking and she is staying. What does, this is present simple. When you ask someone, what do you do? Because you're not saying what are you doing right now, but when you ask someone what do you do, when you ask someone what they do, it's basically what their work is. All right, what do they do regularly? Everybody works regularly, right? So what do you do regularly? Okay, not like this moment, what are you doing? Oh, I'm typing, I'm watching television. No, it's what do you do regularly, your job. He's an architect, but he is not working. Right now, he's not working. He is an architect, but he is right now not working because maybe he doesn't have a job, maybe he lost his job, maybe he's transitioning. Okay. When it says at the moment, it really does not mean right this second. It says in this time of his life, he's not working. Normally he will be working as an architect, but normally he works as an architect, but right now he may be transitioning jobs, he may be taking time off. All right. I usually enjoy parties, but regularly I enjoy, but right now I am not enjoying this one very much. Okay, and you have this special use, always plus verb ing in the continuous tense, and this is kind of like that special use of a bit of irritation. Okay, so that car is always breaking down. Look, you've made the same mistake. Oh no, I'm always making this mistake. Oh, I've forgotten my glasses again. Typical, you're always forgetting your glasses. Okay. Let's go to Unit 4. This is again the difference between present continuous and present simple, but here you're going to focus on it says here that there are some verbs which you will never use in present continuous, as I mentioned before in the previous video in the introduction. Words which are state verbs, you don't repeat. Like when you say you know something, you don't know and stop knowing, so you don't have to do it you don't use it in the present continuous, you just use it in the present simple. Okay, all these verbs you don't normally use it in the present continuous. Okay, then some verbs have different meanings if you're using in a present continuous or present simple. Think means to believe when you use it in the present simple, but if you're using your mind right now thinking of something, then you use it in the present continuous. Okay, all right, let's do this. 4.1, believe. Again, you don't really say believing, so do you believe is present simple tense. Okay, because you believe once, it's a state, you don't stop believing normally. Okay, next, I'm feeling. Now, as it mentions here, you can use feeling and feel probably, unless you use usually, then it will be present simple, but most of the time you can use it in both. Okay, in both tenses, so that's fine. The sauce is great, it tastes. Right, S because it's it. Now I'm thinking, this is your key. Now this use of think is you believe, so you use it in the present simple. I think. Now I'm thinking. 2. Okay, so this will be a bit challenging for some students because they always get a lot of these wrong. Okay, so number 2 is what are you doing right now? Present continuous. What are you doing? Why are you looking this way? Why? What are you doing? Okay, then be quiet. I am thinking. Now this thinking is You're not the same as this thing. This thing means believe. This is right now using my mind, so you can use it in a present simple. Present continuous tense, sorry. 3, now this is tricky. Most students don't get this, right? Remember, you have a WH word, and then firstly, belong. I think it's here. Yep. You don't use it in the present continuous, so it's straight away you know it's in the present simple. And when you use it in the present simple, okay, in the question, what is the subject? This is the question. What is the subject? Umbrella. Umbrella is a he, she. So who does this umbrella belong? See the verb, the base verb. And basically you also have to use the preposition too. Okay. The dinner smells good. Okay, you don't, that's a different meaning for smelling. Okay. So, does it mention here? I'm not sure if it mentions yet. There we go. Okay. We normally use the present simple of these verbs. Okay, unless you say yeah, can use it in the I'm smelling. Yeah, you don't really use it in the verb ing in the continuous. Okay. Unless the dog is smelling you, that's he's right now he's using his nose to smell you. Okay. Other than that, normally we don't use it in the present continuous. Excuse me, is anybody there, sitting there? So this is the present continuous right now, sitting. Okay, and you are using the question, present continuous. Is anybody's he, she, it sitting? Okay. These gloves do not fit. Fit is something that you don't use in the continuous. It's a state verb, so you use a present simple. Do not fit, not does not fit, because these gloves, plural, they do not fit me, right? 4.3. Don't put the dictionary away. Right now, I am using it. Okay, but the next one, don't put the dictionary away. I need it. Now, it's still right now. You still need it now, but why don't you use it? Why don't you say I am needing it? Because this verb is a state verb. Okay, need. So you don't use it in the present continuous, even though you're talking about it right now. Who is that man? What does he want? Want is something, again, you don't use in the it's a state verb. You don't really use it in the present continuous. You can't say what is he wanting. Okay, but look, you can use it in the present continuous. Why is he looking? Okay, Alan says he's 80 years old, but nobody believes him. Believe, again, is something that you don't use in this meaning. All right, well, actually, generally you don't really use believe in the present continuous because it's a state verb. She told me her name, but I do not remember. Again, remember here, you don't use it in the continuous. I do not remember it. Yeah, I do not remember, negative. I am thinking now. I'm still considering it. I'm still thinking, using my mind to think. Remember, think has two meanings. One of it is believe. All right, where it's always in present simple. One of it is to consider, to use your mind right now, that you can use the present continuous. So right now this person is using his mind. Should I sell it? Should I not? He's thinking. All right, I'm thinking of selling my car. Would you be interested in buying it? I think. Now this is present continuous, present simple, because this means belief. Belief is in the present. You do not use the continuous. You use the present simple. I believe you should sell your. I think you should sell your car, meaning belief. You do not use it often. Often, regularly, present simple. You do not use it often. Air consists. It's a fact. Okay, it's something that happens. It's true, regular. So present simple. I'm not sure whether I mentioned you should do this. It's not really necessary, but I'll quickly go through it. Again, sometimes you use the present simple. If this person is this way, everybody has some kind of character or personality. Like, he's kind. Maybe you have a friend that is generally kind, but he's being nasty right now. So the continuous is right this moment, but generally he's kind, but he's being nasty right now. Okay, so I can't understand why he's being so. He's right now. He isn't. You see, usually he's not like that, but right now, Sarah, very nice to me at the moment. You can say Sarah is being. I wonder why. Why do you wonder why? Because normally she's not a nice person. She doesn't act in a nice way to people. Okay. You like Debbie when you meet her. She is. Now you don't have to put is being because you like her. That's a character. That's a personality. That's her character. She's a very nice person. Always, regular. Generally, not just right now. You're usually very patient. So why are you being right now? Okay, continuous is always right now. Why isn't Steve at work today? Is he ill? Okay. Now, don't worry so much about this, okay? That's not the important thing, okay? Just like just now I mentioned for the always, you don't really need, that's not the important thing, okay? So, Unit 3 and 4, you need to understand the difference between the two. Unit 3, we learned that the differences, okay? And Unit 4, here some verbs are not really used in the present continuous, okay? All right, Unit 5, this is past simple tense, and we have regular verbs, we have irregular verbs. So regular for past simple is just ed or d. Irregular, it's not so simple as to put a ed or d, and that's where I gave you this list for irregular, okay? The most common irregular kind of verbs, okay? So let's go back. 5 unit. Oops. Okay. Let's go to this table. So the past simple is very similar to the present simple, and it's a bit more complex. You need to know whether it's a be verb or not a be verb, okay? And then you use auxiliary verbs for the negative for not a be verb and the question, right? So again, make sure you get your form correct. Okay, 5.1. She is just taking all this and putting in a past simple. So have becomes had. She had a big breakfast. She walked to work. It took me. This is all in the past simple. This is something that happens regularly, but now yesterday we want to put it in the past simple. It took me about half an hour. Okay, number 5, I started work at 8:45. Number 6, I didn't have lunch. I didn't have. Using the auxiliary, okay, did not, and then your base verb. Right, that's how you use a negative for the past simple tense. Use a did not. At 5 o'clock, I finished work. 8, I was, be verb, I was, past simple tense. I was tired when I got home. Got. I usually cook a meal in the evening. I cooked a meal yesterday evening. I don't usually go out. I didn't go out yesterday evening. I go to bed at 11. I went, past simple tense. And I always sleep well. I slept well. Okay. Next, 5.2. How did you learn to drive? My father taught me. Teach, because these are mainly irregular verbs. Okay, so teach, taught. If you're not sure, I mean, this is pretty much, you guys should know this. If not, go back to the end here. All right. So taught, we couldn't afford to keep a car, so we sold, past simple of, so yeah, sell. Dave walked down the stairs, fell, past simple of fall, this morning, and broke, past simple of, is it broke? Hurt. Hurt and hurt. Hurt, the base verb, and hurt, past simple, is also the same, not hurted. Okay. Hurt. Hurt. Okay, so this is a past simple, this is a past participle. As I mentioned to you, we're going to use this. We use this basically for two things. Number one, for passives, be plus past participle, and you also use it for present perfect simple tense, the fifth tense, which I will go through. All right. Jim what the ball to Sue, through, who catch, caught, and what a lot of money yesterday, and spent a lot of money. She bought a dress which cost, which is the same. Cost is also in past simple, right? 5.3. Okay, so now you may need to use the question. How, what, by car? So how did you travel? Okay. By car, yes, we hired a car in San Francisco. It's a long way to drive. How long did it take? Okay. Where did you stay? In hotels? Yes, small hotels. Okay. Here, question mark. Yes. So yes. Okay. Yes. So you wouldn't use a WH word. Was the weather good? Yes. Or was the weather fine? Yes. But it was very hot, sometimes too hot. Did you visit the Grand Canyon? Did you see the Grand Canyon? Did you visit the Grand Canyon? Right? So these are all past simple in the question. And 5.4. I knew Sarah, but number 3, I knew Sarah was very busy. So it's a negative. Did not or didn't disturb her. I was very tired, so I left the party early. You realize that if you have, for example, if you have a word that is in the that's irregular, say for example, I say the word catch, okay, is irregular. So if you want to put in positive, I caught the ball. But if you want to put in the question or in the negative, you don't use this. This is only for the positive. Okay, you would use a for the negative or the question, you will use a auxiliary verb. I did not catch, and then you use the base verb again. Or did I or did you catch? You see that? This becomes the base verb again. Only in the positive then you use the irregular kind of version, okay? But if it's a negative or the question, just as is mentioned here, Okay, you may use the irregular, whatever it is, but then use the base verb back again for the negative and the question form. Okay, so 5.4. The bed was uncomfortable. If it's uncomfortable, I did not sleep. Well, the window was open and a bird flew into the room. The hotel wasn't very expensive. It did not cost much. I was in a hurry, so I did not have time to phone you. It was hard carrying the bags. They were, be verb, past simple, were very heavy.